Hello, I'm Peg. This is Living There. Today I'm doing a quick, I think I'm going to start a little series about could I live there? I've traveled somewhat, not a lot, but I'm starting to travel more since I'm retired. And last year in 2025, I went to England and Ireland. And I wanted to talk today about could I live in England? The answer is yes. I loved it. So here are some different things, and I'll show some pictures of my trip of why I feel like I could live there. First of all, the people. I found everywhere I went, people were just so friendly and helpful, polite, quiet. It was wonderful. It was a breath of fresh air. I didn't feel anxious or nervous or the only time I was uncomfortable was when I was in London because I'm not a big city person. There were so many people. The crowds were very intimidating. So I wouldn't want to live in London. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's just not for me. There are very few cities I think I would want to live in. Just because of the density, you know, people everywhere you go. So, excluding London, everywhere else I went, I could live there, I think. I just felt really calm and didn't get mad. It was just wonderful. The whole atmosphere was great. It suited me. A few things I really enjoyed about England was the charity shops. They were wonderful everywhere I went. I tried to seek them out and it was pretty easy to find. First of all, I went to London, landed there on the plane, spent a few days. Went to Oxford. Oxford was beautiful. Like I said, London was a little too crowded and noisy and just busy for me. I'm not a big city person, but Oxford was lovely. It was a city, but much smaller, very polite people. I didn't feel like rushed or anything like I did in London. Just fewer people made it very enjoyable for me. I also went to Wallingford. I loved Wallingford. It's where some of the Midsummer Murders episodes were filmed. And I wanted to go to some other small towns. I didn't make it. I went to Bletchley Park. That was great. It was a very cold day though, so that was a little difficult for me. Coming from the Southwest Desert, I was cold almost the whole time I was in England because I went in March, so it was cold. But I went to Bath and Beckington, very small town. Bath and Beckington are both in Somerset County. Beautiful, beautiful country. I went to Southampton and Salisbury. Went to Stonehenge from Salisbury. Went to Bournemouth and Poole. And like I said, all of these smaller cities and towns and villages were wonderful. I loved the architecture, the old houses, the character. There wasn't much cookie cutter about it. There were some modern buildings and things here and there, but for the most part, you could find the old charming architecture that I just love. So that was a huge plus. One of the fun things that I really enjoyed was seeing signs everywhere I went that were just different. You know, things that are phrased a different way than here in the US. In London, I saw this sign, polite notice, restrooms are for customer use only. Polite notice, you know, we don't do polite here, I don't think. So it was charming. City loo was a sign I'd never seen before. And that was the only toilet I had to pay to use. 50 cents, 50 pence, whatever. It was worth it. I was cold. I really needed to go to the bathroom. There was a street name in Bath, Quiet Street. So I took a picture of it. I loved it. And this little sign along the road, I took this from the bus. We were traveling from one town to the next. Bug and Spider Inn. Isn't that adorable? And a trash can that said, stub it out. It was a little ashtray on top of a trash can out on the street somewhere. I don't remember where this one was. And speaking of signs, I saw these two stores, and at first I thought, what is that? You know, my mind is trying to figure out what it meant. One of them said pound stretcher and pound land. It was like a dollar store, a dollar stretcher or a dollar land. I loved it. I just thought that was, you know, very cool. It's appropriate because they use the pound instead of a dollar. And some of the food I really enjoyed in England was, I had a Sally Lund bun. It's like a Bath bun. It's a dessert that's a pastry that's very light and airy. It was delicious. The Cumberland sausage was very good. Not fatty at all. I'm not a big meat eater, but that was very, very good as far as I'm concerned. Trying to think. The fish and chips were good. I didn't really eat anything too interesting, I guess, just kind of normal stuff. And it was good. It was not exceptional, but it was good. So, in summary, I could live in England from what I saw. I know I was traveling there. I wasn't living there, but I was there for 2 weeks, and it gave me a good idea of the culture and how people interact and behave. And what I saw was very positive. I really enjoyed the people. Everybody was friendly. If I asked for directions or help, you know, is this the right bus or whatever, everybody that I talked to was polite and helpful and friendly, and I loved it. That was a very good feeling. Could I live there? Actually, no, because I can't afford it. But if I could afford it, I'd consider it if they'd let me in, you know. So what about you? Could you live in England from what I've talked about? Have you ever visited? Do you live there? I would love for some people, as many as possible, who want to share what it's like to live in England. And for that matter, what it's like to live wherever it is you live in the world. Let me know. My email is in the description below. Contact me, and we can set up an interview for you. So, Is there anywhere in the world that you've traveled to where you think, I could live there? Have you ever traveled somewhere, decided I could live there, and moved there? I'd love to hear about it. I think it's fascinating to learn where people live and what it's like living there. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and I will see you next time.